Did you know that an audience is going to make a decision about your credibility, your authority, your believability, and your likability, and any other ability that there is? They're going to make these decisions about you within 30 to 60 seconds of your presentation. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 remarkable ways you can start your presentation to create the best first impression possible. Let's dive into it. If you've got an MC who's introducing you as the speaker, and while the MC is introducing you, the audience can see you, then understand that the audience, they're making these decisions about you way before you even get on stage. So while the MC is introducing you, make sure you don't do the following.
First off the rank, we've got Chesty Charlie, who feels the need to show everybody how strong he is by having a particularly wide stance and showing off his chest. Next, we've got Timothy, who should have really gone to the bathroom before the presentation, but because he didn't, now he has to hold it in while he does the presentation. Of course, we've got the Asian Dad Squad. Never seen this one in the wild. Don't do this one. This one's really bad. Really, really bad.
So what should we do? Well, look, the first thing is make sure you've got a good, confident posture. And then after that, grab your hands, take them out of your pockets, and put on a smile. Give the audience good eye contact and wave at the audience. Acknowledge them. And then just before I go on stage, I like to rub my hands together to show the audience I'm pumped and ready to go. The final thing I'll say here is, while you're waiting for the MC to introduce you, it's absolutely okay to just have your hands by your sides. If there's no reason to use your hands, there's no need to do anything with them. Now let's get into the 3 remarkable ways that you can start a presentation to be able to capture the audience's attention and also to help you create the best first impression possible. Number 1, storytelling. This is important for the following reason. When you storytell with an audience, you're going to have higher levels of connection. The audience is going to feel more connected to you. And an audience that is more connected to the speaker is an audience that's going to be more engaged with the speaker. Too many people start with content because they feel uneasy, they feel anxious, they feel nervous, and then they feel like the only form of value that they can add as a speaker is with their content. This is not true. There are so many other different forms of value that you can add as a speaker. You can inspire an audience, you can entertain an audience, and you can educate an audience. It's not just with content. That's not the only form of value. That's why storytelling is so critical, because storytelling again allows you to create that really strong connection with the audience. An audience that's got a stronger connection is going to care more about the content. Now, when I had this experience in the US, I was actually really scared because I was speaking in front of a military group and I knew that there were a lot of army vets in the audience, and I've never spoken in front of a military audience before, nor have I ever spoken in front of any vets. So to me, I felt really nervous and anxious. And then I kind of went back to this rule that instead of immediately trying to share my message with the audience, maybe I should start by forming a connection first. So I looked through my library of stories, and I've documented hundreds of stories over the years, and I found the perfect story to start my presentation with. This was a presentation I did for a military group in the US, and I want you to just check out the story that I shared.
Listen, I'm so honored to be here, and I want to tell you why. Something about me, I feel deeply connected with what you all do, and I want to share with you why. You know, you know that I'm a part magician, obviously, and when I was young, I used to practice with playing cards all the time, and magicians only use one brand of cards, Bicycle, made by the US playing company. And in Australia, we don't have these. And I'm from Australia, if you couldn't tell. And I had to import them from America. You buy them here for about $1 a pack. We have to pay $10 a pack in Australia. Oh, it's robbery. And what happened was my dad saw me playing with these playing cards and practicing with them. And he freaked out when he saw the back of the playing cards. It jogged a memory for him, and he told me this story. In the mid-1970s, my family were trying to escape the war, and my dad told me that the night we were trying to escape, he said he rode his motorcycle into Saigon, into the city, to plead soldiers to please come and help us in the village, because we knew the bad people were coming that evening. And my dad said to me, the soldiers said they couldn't go, they couldn't abandon their post, but this one soldier said, "I can't be there, but I want you to take these cards. It's playing cards, and I want you to scatter them around your village. to make the Viet Cong think there are US soldiers there, so that will buy you time. That evening, the Viet Cong didn't arrive. That's the night my parents escaped. Yeah. And whether it was because of these cards or not, I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, from an Australian Vietnamese boy, thank you for your service. Yeah. Yeah.
After I shared this story, I remember the energy in the room completely changing. At the start, it was a little bit standoffish, but after that, arms came undone and I had their complete attention, and I knew that there was a very strong rapport now that I had with the audience. So storytelling, it's much more powerful than you think. Number 2, use a prop. I rarely see people do this anymore. I don't see many people use props on stage, but if you can use props on stage, you can really engage with the audience's curiosity. So I try this when I'm on stage too. In one of my keynotes, I have like a little mystery box that I show the audience at the start of a presentation. So let's roll to a clip with what I do with the box. Check it out.
Mr. Vin Zhang.
Thank you. So there's a box here. Please, if I could get everyone in this kind of general vicinity, if you could just keep your eye on the box, make sure nothing goes in the box or comes out of the box. Is that okay? Can you do this for me? Please do watch me as well, don't just watch the box.
Since I kind of cut this clip short, you probably don't have context on what that box is about, but I assure you that box has a lot of relevance to the presentation that I give. So that's an important part of this puzzle, is that ensure that the prop you bring has relevance to the topic that you're speaking about. Now, my example was okay. However, one of my favorite examples of a speaker using a prop is Bill Gates when he gave his talk on malaria. Now, he used the prop at the start of his talk, and I want you to just check this quick clip out and watch how engaged and how aroused and almost scared the audience gets when he uses this prop. Check it out.
Malaria, even the million deaths a year caused by malaria, greatly understate its impact. Over 200 million people at any one time are suffering from it. It means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
Wasn't that a badass example of someone using props? Bill uses this towards the beginning of his presentation to really hook the audience and bring them in. I absolutely love the technique of using props. Number 3, humorous energy. Humorous energy. When I say humorous energy, I'm not talking about you becoming a stand-up comedian or you, worse, telling a joke on stage. What I'm saying is the following. 1, make sure you're light on your feet. 2, make sure you've got a smile on your face. 3, make sure you use lots of melody when you speak. Have vocal variety. 4, be excited. Show the audience you're excited to be there. And 5, open body language. If you take all of these 5 things and you mix them together, you get this. Not everyone can become a stand-up comedian, but everyone definitely can become more humorous. When you add more humor just to you as a person, especially when you're on stage, A, you're going to show the audience that you're confident. B, you're going to show the audience that you're excited to be there. And C, you're going to tell the audience and you're showing them that, hey, we're about to have a really good time together. Alright, my friends, these are the 3 remarkable ways for you to be able to open a presentation to create the best impression possible. And over the years of running the workshops and classes, whether it be in person or virtually, I've learned something really interesting about my students. More than 50% of my students suffer from shyness. And when I say shyness, I mean crippling levels of shyness. It stops them from speaking up in the workplace. It stops them from making new friends. overall it stops them from getting the most out of life. And you're probably not going to believe me because of the way you see me now, but I also used to be really shy. I also used to suffer from social anxiety. And I've been on this communication journey now for the last 10 years of my life plus. I want to show you a video from about 7 years ago, and this was me trying to speak to the camera to improve my communication skills. And this was me also after a year of training. Check this out.
Hey everyone, welcome to my garage, office slash home where I sleep, everything. I just had to make this video. I think I said my name was Vin already, I'm not sure. But I pressed record and I just want to see what comes out. But
oh, good. I can't handle any more of that. I'm only going to play about 20 seconds of that. But you see, I hope you agree that I've completely transformed. Some would say I went from being a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. Actually, I don't like that metaphor. I don't want to be a butterfly. I'd rather be a Viking. Nah, who am I kidding? I'll never be able to grow a beard like that. But I do remember being so shy that there was this one moment, and this was about 7 years ago as well, when I went to a networking function to try to build my business as a young professional magician. And it was one of those networking functions where you kind of tell each other what you do, and then you check if I need your services or if you need my services, etc. And the speaker at the time that was running the session said to all of us, "All right, I want one of you to stand up at a time and state your name and what you do." That was all he asked us to do. Yet I was sitting there and my heart was, oh my God, I'm going to have to stand up in the room. I'm freaking out. And I started freaking out because I was second to last in that room. So I had about 18 people ahead of me. So I had 18 people worth of time to feel anxious, to start to get sick in my stomach and to sweat profusely. It was such an awful experience waiting until it was my turn. And then guess what happened when it was my turn? I was so shy and so anxious that when I got up, I said,
my name's Vin and I'm a professional musician.
I said musician, I didn't say magician, I didn't even correct myself. I sat back down, and for the rest of that evening, I basically had to pretend to be a professional musician. Yeah, that night wasn't very fruitful for me. I didn't get any new business out of it, and I told a bunch of people a lie that I was a musician. But why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this simply because I understand what it's like to be shy. I understand what it's like to be socially anxious. I get it. I've been there. So then the question really is, what makes you shy? And when I talk about this with my students and I ask them, I say, well, what makes you shy? They often say to me, I'm not interesting enough. No one's going to want to talk to me.
I'm not funny. Why would anyone want to engage with me?
What if I forget what I'm going to say halfway through talking? They're going to think I'm stupid.
These are actually some things that my students have actually shared with me. And what do all of them have in common? It's all very me-centric, isn't it? I'm not this. I'm not that. Me, 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 me. This is the biggest reason why we get shy. It's when we're too self-centric. I know this is a tough one to admit, but if you really think about this, this is one of the core reasons you hold back. This is one of the core reasons why you feel shy, because you're thinking way too much about yourself. When it comes to the journey of how we can move from being shy to confident, people think we can just do it in one step, but they don't realize that there's a step in between shy and confident. And the step in between is that you don't just go from shy for 20 years of your life to immediately being confident. No, the step in the middle is not sounding shy and not looking shy. Let me tell you what I mean when I say not looking shy and not sounding shy. Here's a quick clip of me when I first started speaking. And if you look at me on stage, I may seem calm to you, I may seem confident, but in my head, I'm freaking out. I'm wearing black so that it hides the sweat stains. And I'm wearing a vest because I used to sweat through my shirt. So I'm wearing a black shirt and a black vest just so I can hide the sweat. And I remember getting off stage at this particular event, and I remember one person coming up to me immediately, and I just thought to myself, oh God, they saw through the facade. They're just gonna tell me that I'm not fit to be a speaker. And this lady walked up to me and said, wow, I can't believe that was one of the first times you were on stage, Vin, because you seemed so confident. Yeah, my head exploded after that experience. I couldn't understand what was happening because on the inside I felt so nervous, but she perceived me to be confident. And in a really weird way, I started to feel more confident as people perceived me to be more confident. This was a really strange situation that was starting to occur. And then I know there are many things that make up self-confidence, but one of them is how others perceive you. Because the way we see ourselves is made up partly of how others see us. And as we improve the way others see us, we improve the way we see ourselves. The night pretty much went like this. I walked off stage, I didn't feel confident. That first lady said,
Wow, you're confident.
and I was like,
Oh, yeah, okay, thanks.
and the next person said,
Wow, you seemed like the stage was your home. You were so confident up there.
and I went,
Yes, I did.
and then the final person that said it to me,
Wow, you were so confident.
I went,
Yes, damn it, I am.
This is a great example of the theory that we become the things we most consistently practice. I just practiced being shy my entire life. And that evening for me was me practicing being more confident. And the moment I practiced being more confident, I felt more confident. Now, over the years of teaching communication skills, I've learned a few things to help you battle shyness. So I want to share with you 5 ways to make you less shy and to help you become more confident. Let's start with number 1. The first thing is about what you can do visually to help yourself feel more confident and help others perceive you as being more confident. The first thing is to improve your posture. Hold better posture. The second thing is use more open body language. And the third thing is give good eye contact. Number 2, things you can do vocally. We've already covered things you can do visually because you want to look more confident, but now we need to also, Now we also need to learn how to sound more confident. Not just to look more confident, but sound more confident. So here are 3 things you can do to sound more confident. The first thing is you want to use stronger levels of volume. Think about it as having a scale from 1 to 10. You don't want to be using out at least a 5 or a 6. Let me give you an example. If I drop to a 3 right now, this is me just speaking at a level 3. What does that do to my level of confidence? Seems like I'm a little less confident, a bit more shy, right? So strong levels of volume. The next thing is you want to make sure you end your sentences on a lower pitch. Because if you end your sentences on a higher pitch, notice what happens? Is that everything I say sounds a bit like a question? This makes you seem a little bit less confident? Whereas if I speak it with a lower pitch at the end, all of a sudden I sound more confident and things don't seem like a question, do they? And the third thing, what you could do with your voice, is you could pause more. Pausing more radiates confidence. Well, look, number 3 is to adopt a curious mindset. Get really curious about the person you're speaking to. Remember that one of the main reasons why we're shy is because we're focusing too much inwardly. Focus on the other person. This will help eliminate one of the main sources of shyness. When the other person is talking, ask more questions about them. Ask 3 follow-up questions about the thing they're talking about. If they're talking about a new hobby, like they just got into archery, ask them 3 follow-up questions. You know, how did you get into archery? What sparked the passion? What's the hardest thing about archery? And who are your heroes in archery? And just like that, you take the focus away from you and put it on the other person, which helps you become less shy and come across as being more confident. Okay, Craig, is that really necessary? Can I kind of... Oh, thank you. Jeez, far out, mate. Look, with the next one, number 4. Okay, great. Now you can't see me at all. Well, I'm not playing your games, Craig. I'm not playing your games. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna play your games. They say the best way to treat bullies is just to ignore them. Number 4, elaborate on your replies. When someone asks you how your weekend was, don't you say, "Oh, it was awesome," and then that's it, and then ask how theirs was. Of course, it's important to be interested in the other person and to be curious about the other person, but inevitably the other person's going to get interested and curious in you too. So elaborate on your replies. When people ask you how was your weekend, actually tell them what you did on the weekend. Thank you for bringing me back, Craig. One of these days I'm going to learn how to edit and fire your ass. Number 5. Can I have it on the other side? I don't want it on this side. I want it on the... Much better. Number 5, have stories ready to share. Sharing stories is one of the fastest ways to build rapport and build self-confidence. But the only way you're going to have stories to share is if you start documenting the things that happen to you. Start building the habit of documenting stories. And if you ever want to learn more about storytelling, the formula for storytelling, and how to document stories, do check out the Stage Academy, my online course for communication skills. These are the 5 tips that I have to be able to help you become less shy and more confident. And as we end this video, I want to show you an example of one of my students. And this example of one of my students, you'll see them just apply a few of these lessons. You'll see a before and after. Before, when they seem a little bit shy, and then when they apply some of these tips, after, just experience how much more confident they seem and come across.
I have a job that I love and a fulfilling work. I really have found that I'm giving back to the world. And I'm so thankful that I took that step, and now that $75 seems pretty well spent.
Punchline. Oh, no, yeah, good. And the punchline was the shoes, what, your life?
Oh, the shoes changed my life.
No, the shoes saved your life.
Yeah.
Boom, big round of applause again, that was great.
It was about 1.5 years after I graduated from college. I was working my first job as an engineer. I was asking myself questions like, what am I giving back to the world? What is it all about? What is the meaning of life? You know, totally normal questions that one asks oneself after you buy a pair of footwear. And yes, I am still wearing that same pair of dirty, stinky Chaco sandals. Starting to think that maybe that was a pretty good deal after all. Those shoes saved my life.
Big round of applause! Yeah! Wasn't that inspiring? And as we part ways before we end this week's video, I just want to remind you that the reason you're shy now, if you are feeling like you are shy, it's because you practice being shy. And you've practiced being shy so much that you've become so great at being shy that now you have to learn and practice new behaviors. You have to practice being more confident. It's going to take time. Don't be discouraged, and don't be so attached to who you are right now in the present that you don't give the future version of you a chance.